In a move that stunned the world, Ukrainian forces launched a daring offensive into Russia's Kursk region. This marked a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict. Ukrainian troops, equipped with tanks and air defense systems, penetrated over 20 kilometers into Russian territory. Their objective to disrupt Russian defenses and bolster Ukrainian morale.
The assault, described as unexpected and audacious, caught Russian forces off guard. Ukrainian forces successfully captured Russian soldiers and prompted the evacuation of civilians from the area.
This operation showcased Ukraine's ability to seize the initiative and exploit vulnerabilities in Russia's defenses. The element of surprise played a crucial role in the initial success of the offensive. Ukrainian commanders strategically chose a time and location where Russian forces were least prepared. This bold maneuver challenged Russia's perception of its own border security and sent shockwaves through the Kremlin. The world watched with bated breath as the situation unfolded, uncertain of what this daring move meant for the future of the conflict. Would it be a turning point, or would it lead to a dangerous escalation? Ukrainian forces made significant initial gains, pushing deep into Russian territory and capturing key positions. Videos emerged of Ukrainian soldiers raising their flag in Russian villages, a powerful symbol of their advance.
President Zelensky confirmed the offensive, praising the courage and determination of Ukrainian warriors.
Russia, however, was quick to respond, vowing a tough response to the incursion.
The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed to have repelled multiple Ukrainian attacks, inflicting heavy casualties and destroying equipment. Moscow deployed reinforcements to the region, including conscripts and experienced brigades, to halt the Ukrainian advance.
The conflict in Kursk intensified, with both sides engaging in fierce fighting and reporting significant losses. Drone and missile attacks became commonplace, adding to the destruction and chaos in the region. The situation remained fluid and dangerous, with neither side willing to back down.
Despite Russian claims of repelling the attacks, Ukrainian forces continued to hold positions within Kursk Oblast. Some reports even suggested slight Ukrainian advances despite the arrival of Russian reinforcements.
The deployment of conscripts raised concerns about their combat readiness and the potential political ramifications for the Kremlin should they suffer heavy casualties. The Ukrainian incursion into Kursk Oblast unfolded against a backdrop of escalating tensions in the wider conflict. Ukraine also targeted a Russian ship and gas platform in the Black Sea, further raising the stakes. Adding to the concerns, reports emerged that Iran was preparing to supply ballistic missiles to Russia, signaling a potential widening of the conflict.
Russia responded to the incursion by declaring a counter-terrorism operation in Belgorod, Bryansk, and Kursk oblasts. This decision, led by the FSB, granted Russian authorities sweeping powers to restrict movement, suspend communications, and confiscate vehicles.
While stopping short of declaring martial law, this move aimed to enable a forceful response while minimizing domestic panic. The international community expressed deep concern over the escalation of violence and urged both sides to exercise restraint. However, the Ukrainian offensive inside Russia's internationally recognized borders presented a complex situation. It allowed Moscow to portray itself as the victim of aggression, complicating international efforts to mediate a resolution.
The incursion into Kursk illustrated the high-stakes geopolitical dimensions of the conflict. The potential for miscalculation and unintended consequences loomed large, underscoring the need for careful diplomacy and de-escalation efforts.
The events in Kursk sent ripples of concern throughout the international community. World leaders condemned the violence and called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The United Nations urged both sides to respect international law and protect civilians caught in the crossfire.
The incursion into Russia proper raised fears of a wider conflict, potentially drawing in NATO and other global powers. The specter of a nuclear escalation, while unlikely, added to the anxiety and uncertainty surrounding the situation.
Diplomatic efforts intensified as countries sought to prevent the conflict from spiraling out of control. Humanitarian organizations grappled with the growing needs of those displaced by the fighting. Millions had already fled Ukraine since the start of the conflict, and the incursion into Kursk created a new wave of refugees. The international community faced the daunting task of providing aid and support to those affected by the violence.
Amidst the turmoil, calls for peace echoed from all corners of the globe. Protests against the war erupted in cities around the world, with people demanding an end to the bloodshed. The human cost of the conflict weighed heavily on the hearts and minds of people everywhere.